3 hams will certainly kill him. 3 hams.
Welcome to the Catboy Rants. Now, I promised that we'd be talking about a nice series called Big O. Now, we're not going to do that. You see, my wife did a wonderful thing for me. She went ahead and she rented Jack Reacher, movie starring Tom Cruise. I thought it was you might have heard me in past rants talk about it. I was actually looking forward to it. You know, for those of you who don't know, Jack Reacher is a character based out of the Lee Child novels. Usually he's portrayed as a character that just waltzes into town, finds out what's going on, and rights wrongs. Doesn't mean to, but that's what he does. It's a good character. Very good character. I actually really like the series. I've actually got a few books myself. They're over on our bookshelf. But Hollywood loves to mess with shit, as we all know from the X-Men movies, from Superman movies, and you might be wondering why I'm carrying this. This is to keep me from really attacking anybody. You know, this is a Buster Sword given to me by some fans at Con long ago. Very nice people. I'm going to go right over here for right now, but just going to keep it on hand in case I get a little out of hand. Please excuse me. It's very warm, and when it gets very warm I get very angry, and when I get very angry I watch movies. When I watch movies that I may not like, and when I watch movies I may not like, I start talking like this, and then I start grabbing things. And I can handle a good bad movie, but talk to all my friends. They'll tell you I will offer ideas to watch a good bad movie. But you know, this was one of those movies that really made me want to punch Tom Cruise in the face. Let's talk about this. The book that the movie Jack Reacher is based off of is actually called One Shot. It's a series where someone guns down 5 people in a open area in front of a large reflecting pool and in front of some law offices, and they capture a man who used to be a sniper in the Army in Desert Storm. He was brought in and then goes into a coma, so they can't really question him. Jack Reacher shows up, and it just takes from there. In the movie, it follows that pretty well, except for, of course, this is looks like across a river instead of a reflecting pool. 5 people are killed, but they leave out one thing, and that is, of course, one person got away. There were supposed to be 6 people that were supposed to be killed, but 5 people were killed, not 6. Which is brought up multiple times in the book. Reacher says a good sniper with that much time would have been able to take out all 6 targets, especially a sniper of that gentleman's caliber. Movie never brings that up. They say 6 shots were fired, 5 people were killed. Actually, no, excuse me. They say 5 people were killed. They never say 6 shots were fired. They just say 5 people were killed. They always go on that. There's no talking about, the sniper caliber or anything like that. There's no real investigation by the characters. It's just more or less, let's go ahead and show action. Which, you can't fault Hollywood for that, really. There's a lot of movies out there that came from books that you know for a fact that everybody would leave the theater if they had to watch just all this people reading stuff, inner monologue, which there's a lot of inner monologue in the Jack Reacher books. But and I do stress this, in this book, there was quite a bit of action. A lot of symbolism as well. Case in point, for a lot of you who have never seen Jack Reacher, I don't care if you never will. Those of you who have not read the books, I do care, because those are damn good books. So at this point I will say, there will be spoilers. Okay? Jack Reacher, the film, basically talks about this one gentleman who was beat up, goes into a coma, and that's it. That's basically as much as we get out of this guy. I feel bad for the actor who had to play coma victim guy. They do call him out by name, but that's about it. Everything else is, let's see Tom Cruise play a character who's so tough, so powerful, that there's no way that anybody could stop him. There's actually even a scene in the movie where they knock him out, he falls into a bathtub, and because of the size of the bathroom, he is unable to be touched by these two bumbling idiots that are supposed to be in the book. In the book, these guys are all top-class assassins. And they basically get downgraded to Bulk and Skull in the movie. You don't do that. I mean, there's even a scene in the movie. Okay, in the movie, they say, well, we need to find this guy, Jack Reacher, because while the guy's still awake, he tells them, contact Jack Reacher. Jack Reacher just shows up. Nobody ever says how he got there, why he's there, or anything like that. I mean, yeah, he does say, I'm here to bury him. He did this before. Okay, that's great. But why did he just show up? I mean, the guy just wrote down, get Jack Reacher. And then they start talking about how nobody can find him. There's no reports about anything that's happened, what's going on, the name of the character, or anything. It's just, he just shows up. This is the atonement of almost being how freaking Voltron has people who are like, oh, these guys are no longer called the Space Explorers, now they're fucking Voltron Force. And everybody fucking knows. But Jack Reacher shows up. Jack Reacher goes in, talks to him for a few minutes, comes out, and meets up with the lawyer. The lawyer who's defending the guy in the coma. I'm not going to name names, because it doesn't matter. Especially with this character. Hell, with all the characters, it doesn't fucking matter. Because even in the movie, the main bad guy... Oh, God. Meets up with the lawyer, tells him the story of what happened with the gentleman, even though, of course, this is supposed to be classified. Jack Reacher doesn't care. He's like a honey badger. He doesn't give a fuck. And then he goes out, does his own investigation, and it really doesn't make a lot of sense, the things he does in the movie. He goes to a sports bar, sits down and drinks. A lady comes up, invites him to basically be his for a while. And after that, he goes outside. He beats up a bunch of people. Then he goes after her to find her again. Now, of course, they're going to find her to find out who caused them to go ahead and actually fight him. Now, at the same time, this could be just some lady. In the book, however, he actually legitimately has a reason to go after these people. People start following him. He notices this. He used to be an MP. For those of you who don't know, Jack Reacher, the character himself, he used to be an MP. And in some of the novels, he is still the MP. He's one of those guys that is no nonsense, won't take any bullshit. But granted, of course, he knows right from wrong. He's very intelligent. He stands about 5'11", almost 6'2", about 250 pounds, mostly muscle. Very decorated individual through the army. Very, very duty-oriented character. And the thing he wants to do more than anything is just find out the reason why. You see this in a lot of the books. Now, he leaves the army. He leaves being an MP and is out on his own in the world. And this is where you find him in one shot. As in the book, he is actually in a hotel room with a woman. They have just finished having sex. He asks her to take him to the airport. She does, in her pink Cadillac. Takes off to the airport because the reason he does this is he sees on the news CNN talking about a shooting. And they show a picture of the man who did the shooting. Now, Reacher knows who this man is because he's got a very good memory and goes out to help the investigation because he knows this gentleman has done it before. Movie, he just shows up. There is no lead up. In fact, they don't take time to tell anybody who anybody is. Really. Jack Reacher could have been, Deadpool could have showed up and said, "Hello, my name is Jack Reacher. I'm here to go ahead and help people out." Blam, blam. But that wouldn't have happened. No, in the book, they actually state, this is Jack Reacher. He is a character. And he builds his character as he goes along. Movie, no. It's just, "Hello, I am Jack Reacher." I'm bulletproof, as you know. I need my sword. Anyways, as we're going along in the movie, you get some flashes of who actually did it. In fact, in the very beginning of the movie, they show you who actually did it. Which, in a mystery movie, you don't do that. In a mystery movie, you'd put the man in shadow. In a mystery movie, you would leave us guessing. In a mystery movie, you don't show us the villains 5 seconds into the fucking movie. In the book, they never say who did it. Ever. In the beginning. It's all implied. I mean, there's even times where you're thinking, you know what, the guy did it. Holy crap. Well, but there's all this evidence. No, the guy did it. So you're thinking, well, shit. The movie's no, this guy did it. Now watch as we make everybody dance around that whole subject. And it's just... As we go along, there's a scene that I actually felt was very good. The main bad character appears. Now, in the book, this happens several chapters in, I think 30 or 40 chapters in, where you get to talk to the main bad character, the main villain. And he talks about what he is, how grizzled, how he got to be so powerful. So, you know, this guy doesn't. He just says, "I was in Siberia. See these fingers? I had to gnaw them off. These fingers, I had to cut them off. All with my own teeth. Because I didn't want to go to the sulfur mines." Really? So, you took your fingers off so you wouldn't go to a mine. And I can understand, you know, it's like the planet that Kirk and Bones go to to live out the rest of their lives in the undiscovered country. But, you know, you don't want to go there because you're going to die there, but at the same time it's like basically saying, "See this foot? I went and shot it so I could come home from the army. That's a good idea." No, that's not a good idea. That's just telling us you wanted to get out of it. It would have been cooler if you would have said, "I went into the mine. I lived there for 5 years. And then I came out and I led a revolt and got everybody out. With these hands. Lost these hands of frostbite." You know, that would have been cool. And I gotta say one thing. And I hate myself for saying this. In Star Trek Nemesis, when they give that backstory for that little bastard, and you all know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to go ahead and detail to this. But they say he was sent to the mines on Remus. And he survived in a place that nobody usually survives. Yes, he was helped by one of the people on Remus. But at the same time, he survived. He's a better freaking person at survival than the main bad character. Okay? As we continue on in the movie, he does some more investigating. The lady who initially was trying to chat him up in the bar gets killed. He goes to the shooting range. after investigating some stuff with the lawyer. This is, of course, after being attacked by the bungling idiots, Hack and Slash, Bulk and Skull, whatever you want to call them. They were the idiots, okay? Finds out, talks to the guy. Let's just skip ahead because there's a lot of bullshit in the middle. And we get to the end. The lawyer is captured. She is going to be killed by the main bad guys. She's being held at a gravel pit. Because that's what these guys are, is people that deal with gravel pits and landscaping and what have you. And after a few times, he has the guy who runs the shooting range help him. They go in, they take out all the bad guys. When I mean take out, they don't incapacitate them, they kill them. And they finally get to the main bad guy, and like I said, there's like no fight really, and blam, shoots him. So by the end of the movie, the lawyer is there, and she has witnessed Reacher murder a person who they had no proof had done anything, other than, of course, kidnapping. They don't have anything to prove the other man's that he's not guilty, prove his innocence. So he's still going to go to jail, maybe even, you know, electric chair, because Reacher decided to just be a dick and kill everybody. And that's the ending. That's the absolute ending. So all you out there that went ahead and watched that film and was like, oh, that's a good movie, fuck you. That was a terrible film. The book, much better. Reacher goes into town. He's staying at a motel. He stays at a few motels because he feels that if he stays at one, they're going to go ahead and search it once they find out that he is, of course, there. They even let him go because he tells them, look, the reason I know it's not me is, other than the fact that I was there, is A, the girl who was killed by somebody who was left-handed. I am right-handed. They were killed by someone who was exactly my height, but not my build. They did it from this way and that way, blah, 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 blah. And he basically tells them how to do their job. And it's right in their face. Film? No. When the girl is killed, she's knocked, punched out, and then suffocated. In the book, and with a person who is right versus left, right. And that's how they were able to tell. It was the way her neck was moved and bruised. So as soon as they found out, I was like, well, are you right-handed or left-handed? He says, I am right-handed. They go, fuck! It's not him. And they check. So, of course, he does go to the shooting range. The shooting range thing does kind of pan out exactly the same way. The ending, however, the bad guys, as well as, of course, all the actual guys that are in this film, all the places he goes, I mean, he does take a car and everything, but all the places he goes are rural fucking areas. Everywhere in the movie, it's all urban. Like, he goes to one of the, like, lower level bad guys. He goes to his house. And in the book, it's a farm, a very unused farm. He notices that the house is kind of run down, but the barn is immaculate. There's a brand new lock on the door. And he goes and talks to the mom, and the mom's like, I don't know anything, I don't know where he's at. But he can tell that from the way the house is not the main point of this place. It's the barn. And you know what's probably in the barn? Either his pride and joy, which is his truck, but the thing is, though, the truck is outside the barn. So what could be in the barn? Ah, could it be something he's making drugs, or growing drugs, or doing something in that barn that is illegal, but yet there's no reason to go in that barn, because this is, of course, a farm. So he just takes the truck then. That simple. That easy. And, you know, in the movie, they could have done that. But fuck no. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that for a movie. No, he shows up to a place. It looks like it's just a standard house in the suburb. Could be even like, you know, as you get into the city, not just the suburb, but, you know, kind of city-ish. Don't know what you call it. Infill. But he goes in there. It looks like the mom is stoned out of her gourd. She's not. And that's when they get him. But that doesn't happen in the book. Okay? In fact, you didn't need that for the movie. You didn't need the scene with Bulk and Skull, hack and slash. You didn't need freaking that scene with the bumbling idiots that try to get him. It just showed, it basically at that point portrayed Reacher as this godlike man who has, you know, fate on his side, which he doesn't. He just knows he's good. In the whole situation with the end battle, they find out that the place that they're going to is a house situated at the end of a very open area. And the open area has all these lights that are motion censored. So, as soon as somebody walks up anywhere on this property, because it's very flat, they would be able, the lights would go on, they'd be able to see that person and take him out with a sniper rifle. Very simple. So, they get a few people, and they kind of do what they did in the movie. Of course, they drive the car up, but not to that whole situation. It's a lot more stealthy than that. And the whole final real battle, Reacher gets into this house, and it's a 2-story house. And he goes through this whole thing, and I won't spoil the ending for you, but let's put it this way. He shows fucking competence versus the Reacher from Jack Reacher is basically just walking in going, I am God now. No, fucker. So, between the two, I understand a lot of people, when they look at books versus the movie, there's a lot of things that change. And they gotta change them because, let's put it this way, Deathly Hallows, there's a lot of shit they had to change in that. Okay, I can understand that because the pacing for the whole book was a lot different than their previous books. I mean, in the previous books you had schoolwork that you went through for every chapter and all this stuff that was kind of put in. For the Deathly Hallows, they're looking for this stuff, and there's not that pacing of, okay, we got 6th period, we got this period, we got that, we got potions. And you can see that with previous films. We've got this, we've got that. The passage of time is a lot different than you would with Deathly Hallows, because we don't have the whole situation of school. And so they have to cut it a lot differently. The whole scene with the wedding, you have to cut it a lot differently. And I understand that. I totally understand that. But then you get into films, like I said, Jack Reacher, where you have this, there is no passage of time. It seems like he's been there like a day, and that's it. In the book, I'd say he was there for maybe, I can't remember exactly, it's been 6 months since I read One Shot. But I remember it very, you know, the big stuff very well, but I think it was there for maybe 4 or 5 days at the most. And they did a lot of investigating. I mean, this would have been like CSI kind of stuff. But Deathly Hallows, you have to have that pacing, and that's the reason of the 2 movies. The Hobbit. I've read parts of it. I'm sorry for a lot of you out there who've read the entire Hobbit. I did not. I grew up on what you would call a farm for a lot of you out there. And I didn't get a lot of time to really sit back, relax, and read. There were some days where it's like, okay, it's raining outside, we're not going to do anything, or it's too damn hot, we're not going to do anything. But there was a lot of times where we were outside, we were out there from 7 a.m. when I was a kid. Okay, I'm talking about when I was a kid. When I'm older, it was a lot earlier. But 7 a.m. until about 6 p.m. at night, you're working outside, working hard, you know. And I didn't get a lot of cartoons I didn't get to watch when I was little. That's why I had to get up so much earlier just so I could watch Rocky and Bullwinkle and them. But it's probably why I watch a lot of anime now. But I digress. You have that pacing, and it's just not there. And I didn't get to watch. I didn't get to read a lot of those books, and I grew up in Toppenish, and anybody who lives in Toppenish, who is looking at this, understand what the curriculum usually was. It was basic math, basic reading. If you read anything like The Hobbit or Catcher in the Rye, you were one of those kids that was exceptional. We didn't read that. Not even high school did they say, we would like you to please read Catcher in the Rye. No! Now, I believe more kids should read those books as they get older. It would help with the reading average for a lot of kids, get their comprehension up. But at the same time, find them stuff that's, they like to read. Nothing against, okay, I can understand a lot of people not liking Twilight because of the whole thing, but as a literary situation where children are reading, and I mean a book in the hand, instead of watching the movie, I applaud that. Anybody who writes, I applaud that. Anybody who reads very well, I applaud that. One of my darkest days living in Yakima, in the Yakima area, was when the Borders left town. That left us one real bookstore, like a 50-mile radius. Hell, it's a 100-mile radius. I can't remember. It's let's put it this way. Closest bookstore is a place called Inklings. It's very small. I don't like going into it because all the books are overpriced, and you can't find the book you want. There is no selection. Borders, it was you could walk in there and look, oh my God, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, they came out with that book. Oh look, there is the novelization of this film. Oh look, there's this. Oh look, there's that. There's so many options for people. But now it's Inklings, and it's like, we've got this series. There's a lot of used bookstores, but at the same time, it's used books. So if you want to find something new, it's very hard to find. One of my favorite used bookstores to go to is Encore Books. And just a plug for a lot of people who are watching this that live in the area, Encore Books on 3rd and Nob Hill. Definitely check them out. They're cool. I like going in there. They've got a great selection of sci-fi and fantasy. But with the books that are out that are being made into movies, it's hard to watch sometimes. Which is why I would rather, if I see a movie that's coming out that someone says it's based off a book, I would rather much watch the movie first and then read the book. Just because it won't ruin it for me. There's only been really one movie that really, as I watched, because I saw it before, and then I read it for my English class when I was in college, and that was Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick. And I watched the movie Blade Runner, which I recommend for anybody who's out there. Watch it. It's a fantastic film, a classic. Read the book too, because it's a wonderful book too. Different endings. I actually like the movie better than the book. I'm sorry, but I do. Different ending. I like it. But it's interesting how both of them actually play out. I won't spoil them at all, because you need to read them. It's just like any of the books that are out there that they say you need to read to really get through life. I mean, The Tempest, I'd recommend reading. Dream of Electric Sheep, the Book of Lebowitz, I'd recommend those. Anything like American Gods, Neverwhere, Stardust, anything by Neil Gaiman, recommend that. There's tons of books out there that I'd recommend reading. World War Z, recommend reading. When that movie finally comes out to Redbox, because I don't like to see those kind of movies in the theaters. I mean, I'll go watch Iron Man 3, I'll go watch the Star Trek Into Darkness, but I'm not going to watch World War Z. I didn't watch Jack Reacher in the theaters because of just this. If I saw it in the theaters, I would have just been yelling at the screen. Luckily, I had my wife with me when we watched it here, so I wasn't yelling at the screen. I was just trying to keep myself from throwing myself at the screen. So, but that's basically it. So, those of you who are out there who are thinking of your favorite books and thinking that'd be a great movie, hold your tongues, because you know for a fact that once they run out of ideas, once we've seen Total Recall remade 5 times, Terminator remade another 16 times, you know, all these movies that have been remade over and over and over again. I mean, yeah, you see like 10 remakes, and then you see a movie like The Illusionist. Recommended. You see a movie like, I know a lot of you are going to laugh at me, Beer Fest. I like it because it's a funny movie, and it's got beer. Those of you who know me, I like dwarves. You know, big bushy beards, axes, beer. Tordek, you're awesome, man. But every one of those films, you're going to have an Ernest Goes to Camp remake, which I hope to God they never make. I'm really not going to watch, speaking of remakes, I'm not going to watch the Evil Dead remake that's coming out. I know even the great one himself, Bruce Campbell, said it was a good film. I'm sorry, I'm not going to watch it. I'll wait until Redbox and see how I like it. But you know what? To me, the original will always be the best. The original, the second one, and of course, Army of Darkness itself. I'm sorry, those are the ones I like. Those are the ones that I'm going to stay with, because it's like saying, for a lot of you out there who have ever, another one of my favorite films is The Godfather. I love watching it. And then there's people out there who say Godfather 3 was great. And for those of you, I recommend to go ahead and jump off a cliff. Godfather 3 was crap. Godfather 2, alright, but kind of crap. Godfather, the original, was awesome. Perfect. Almost in every way. But those of you who want to watch Jack Reacher, watch it. Go ahead. You'll probably come to the same conclusion as I did. It's kind of like when I watch Twilight or anything like that, I don't watch it for the film anymore. I watch it to riff it. Because riffing is fun, but in this situation, I probably won't ever riff Jack Reacher, just because I know that it could have been so much better, and they just didn't take the time on it. So, to everyone out there, you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Tonight for me is game night. I'm actually running it tonight. It's Dresden Files. So everyone who's in my group, get ready for the pain. Because we've had to do 2 weeks of Serenity. Excuse me, a week of Serenity, then 2 weeks of no gaming, and then Serenity. Which I like doing Serenity. It's fun. I'm the pilot. Spoonie would say, don't be the pilot. Fuck that. I like being the pilot. I'm fucking crazy. But I get to go ahead and run it. And when I run a game, it's a lot more fun. So, till next time, you guys have a good weekend. Next week we will do Big O. Just to show that I actually have it, it's right here. Complete Season 1 and Season 2. Why? because I really like season 1. And the way they left it, well, I'll just leave it at that. Because we definitely need to go over this together. But again, this one's season 1. I've got season 2 over on my rack. Till next time.
Time for go to bed.